Welcome to the Nerd Powwow. Follow us on YouTube where we upload new videos every Friday, or check us out on your favorite podcast platform. Spoiler warning, we do deep dives on characters, storylines, and theory crafting. With that said, Wayne.
Give him the forecast.
We are going to talk about the mistress of the elements, Storm. She's going to call for the ancient sands to heed her command to reclaim these relics of hatred.
Heck yeah.
Let's talk about Storm. Let's deep dive into her past, because she's got a hell of a one. My first interaction with Storm was probably you guys. Well, maybe Nagy, you seem to start a little earlier than us, but X-Men, X-Men from 1992.
Oh yeah, yep.
Storm and Rogue in the mall, just shopping, and all of a sudden, big Sentinel trying to capture this young girl. And Storm comes out, said, "Storm, mistress of the elements, commands you to release that child." And Rogue's like, a little easy on the commands there, Storm. And just that starts my passion of X-Men and Storm.
Yep, you hear Rogue coming with that cornbread accent, and you're like, all right,
yeah.
We know what we're in for.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, same thing for me. I was introduced to Storm, X-Men, the original, the 92 series. Oh man. I think the thing that always stuck out most to me from that series is just the depictions of her having those, panic attacks from her claustrophobia.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always been a big element in the comics and in the show. Because I first obviously met Storm when she was part of the all different X-Men that Xavier formed to save the original X-Men from the Krakoa Island. We got flashbacks of her meeting Xavier as a child when she was still a thief. She was a thief as a child living in the streets, and that's when Xavier actually first encountered her. It wasn't until she was in adulthood that he came back around and it fully enlisted her to be one of the X-Men. I really enjoyed that time in the X-Men comics when they all knew all different. I mean, you get Storm, Sunfire, which doesn't get a lot of play, which unfortunately, because I really like Sunfire, Banshee, Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Colossus. Cyclops went from one team to the other, but Jean, Bobby, Hank, and Warren all left the team to go do different things. But it was she was a great cornerstone of that team at the time. She used to have these. She had in the mansion she lived on in the upper floors, and she had all this floral. She made the entire place kind of just lots of plants and everything else. It was very Storm, very nature, very one with the elements. It was always, they always represented her really good back then.
Yeah, can you imagine Charles Xavier going to this small African tribe and hey, you the person who thinks they're a goddess? No, you're actually a mutant just like me. Imagine only Charles Xavier would
right.
have.
Oh no, you're not a goddess at all. Clearly not.
You're not even that special. Yeah, no. I can read people's brains and make them do stuff.
In researching, they know that she's an Omega level mutant at that time.
Yeah.
And in researching Storm, it seemed like she got knocked down to a child multiple times.
Yeah, the nanny,
Eleanor Merge,
made her. Yep, she was running around and doing the thief thing again with Gambit.
Yeah,
during that time, it was kind of a cool little thing.
That was Gambit's first appearance. Is those comic series with young Storm?
Yeah,
and I guess she, her memory was affected as well, so she didn't really. She had some inklings of who she was, but she didn't remember that she was a mutant.
Yep. Yeah, that was the big one. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
but they have a thing with turning the X-Men into children or babies. I mean, the Mojoverse turned into the X-Babies. I mean, there's always some kind of de-aging them in ways, or pull the young X-Men from an alternate dimension. They're always de-aging them to try to get that in there. But it's about Storm though. One thing that's always been true of her, once she came into her own as a true voice and a leadership and found her own confidence, she's always been some type of leader, whether it be of the X-Men or the Morlocks, or all the way to when she's being the regent of what's it called?
Wakanda.
Well, yeah, she was Queen of Wakanda,
Queen.
but she became regent on the Krakoa planet.
Yeah,
my brain's not functioning here.
Some people are just born to play that role.
Araco. Yeah, Araco was the name of the planet. It was Mars. They converted Mars over to Araco, and that was huge. I loved her as I also loved her as the leader of the Morlocks. That's when she went Mohawk.
Oh yeah,
and she was wearing the little leather vest. She beat the shit out of Callisto to be the leader of the Morlocks.
Storm can fucking throw down.
She can. Yeah, even when she was depowered.
Yeah,
when she was living with Forge depowered and stuff. And when they were, that was killer. I mean, she was really capable.
And she gets challenged to a duel with Cyclops to determine who's going to lead the team. She's completely powerless, and she kicks his ass. And he's like, okay, I'm going to quit then. Oh, poor Cyclops.
You mentioned her in Forge. One of her main villains is the adversary, and I just love the story of the adversary. That was probably one of my favorite villains of Storm's.
Yeah, the adversary is a cool character because he actually meant something to Forge for a while as something not in the adversary. He was a kind of a guide for a while there before he realized that it was the adversary, and it was the adversary was a cool villain. He was atypical too. He was closer to being on brand with Amal Farouk, the guy with Shadow King. Yeah. I remember his real name, not his. He was
funny.
More on par with.
Yeah, I remember Shadow King and not his real name.
Yeah, so so that was just cool to have that level of, kind of on different realms, different planes of existence, not different dimensions, but Amal Farouk had the psychic one, and Storm has this these other planes of existence that exist. It was cool to have that kind of villain in that environment. So,
another when researching Storm and just her children. Now, as you mentioned, she didn't have any children in the 616 universe, but as you guys know, one of my favorite characters is Gambit. And when I learned that her and Gambit had a child, I loved it, because it was Medea. It was her name. She had the electrical powers of Storm. She didn't have the kinetic energy Gambit did, but she had the precision, his marksmanship. So that was, when I was reading about her, I was like, man, this is amazing. Even though I'm very for Rogue and Gambit, but Storm and Gambit, that made for a really powerful mutant.
That's an Earth I'm happy exists.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And,
Storm's never been bad at choosing her mates, whether they had children or not. She's had some powerful relationships,
and she even had Alex Nathaniel Summers with Cable, Major X, and he was a pretty cool character himself. And also,
Major X was cool because he kind of looked almost like a version of Cyclops.
Yes.
Which was kind of cool, bringing that back around. He was almost reflecting a little bit of Cable, a little bit of Cyclops, so in the family there. Major X is a cool character. I enjoyed.
I've collected a few of his comics. I don't know too much about him just yet, but I've got some of the comics to start reading about him. And then, of course, she had the two children with the Black Panther, Chimera and Zari. And those ones I've known about. And it's just Storm has so much history, so much character. There's so much about her. She's experienced so much. really, I mean, we usually talk for about an hour and 15 minutes, but we could probably talk days about Storm if we wanted to.
Yeah,
for sure.
She's her just you could spend a lot of time just in certain periods.
Yeah.
Like with when she was leading the Morlocks, that's around the time the Marauders were coming in and slaughtering the Morlocks, but she was spending more time with the X-Men, so they blamed her a little bit, and she's having to balance that out. That was a whole time, which was fantastic. She was the goddess of thunder for a while. She actually pulled up Mjolnir, and that was one of my favorite looks of Storm ever. Is in that
Pretty
X-Men
badass.
annual. Yeah, X-Men annual. She's got the full mohawk and it's all its glory, wielding the hammer with some Asgardian armor. Some it was almost like a hybrid of her normal outfit and Thor's. That was just a fantastic costume there. My favorites of hers.
For sure.
Yeah.
When X-Men 97 was coming about, it hadn't been released yet, but they put up that clip of them fighting the Sentinels. And so it just got chills for the whole fight scene.
Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden, Cyclops give them the forecast. And, that's ancient sands, heed my command, and reclaim these relics of hatred. And just that it was amazing.
Oh man,
I got chills the whole thing. Yeah,
I could fit every single goose pimple was up. All my hairs were standing up. Oh yeah, no, that was amazing. It's like
and the fact that she had the same voice. Forgive me, I don't remember the actor's name. She's a really awesome lady. I've researched her in the past, but she did the Storm from 1992, and she sounds exactly the same.
Yeah,
because even Cal Dodd with Wolverine sounds a little different. I mean, he's older; he's 30 years older. But the woman that does Storm's voice sounds exactly the same.
Oh, guest star Harry in the background.
Yeah, I see.
What is that, a rat?
I guess when I spend all day at work, he's like, "Hey, where you been?"
Yeah, right.
Oh, there he is.
Yep.
Oh man.
Lila doesn't want me over. She's crashed on the couch right over here. She's just sleeping away over here. She's in mind.
All my cats are slackers. They're all chilling downstairs with Laura, cuddling up with her.
Oh, if he could sleep on my shoulders right now, he would. Just don't let him.
Yeah, this Storm gets set up for some of the best lines. I mean, she's great for that. When you're talking about those, but what's the forecast? I mean, come on, that's fantastic. It's just she always has
this very big way of talking, explaining what's going on, and that it kind of adds to her air of kind of like almost a deity, or her monarchness or whatnot.
Mm-hmm. That was kind of a neat thing with her, and when she was doing Araco, she refused to become queen. She was diametrically opposed. She was willing to be the regent, but there were no queens of Mars. Or queens of Araco. She wanted that. There was something she really stuck with throughout that entire. I just got done reading that entire X-Men Red series, and it was really good. It was an excellent run there. It was getting towards the end of the whole Krakoa Araco things with all the alienness of that. Now they're getting back into the roots, which I'm kind of glad for. I felt like it was almost becoming its own universe in a way. Like it was really hard for it to play with the Avengers and everybody else on Earth. They were just kind of off doing their own thing. They're inventing these characters, other races, and it was okay. But I would save that for a 2099 or a Guardians of the Galaxy or something like that, where it kind of just fits in there a little bit better. I like the X-Men as the Manchester mutants, the kids that are, they're kind of almost secretly doing what they can, and nobody trusts them, but they're still doing the right thing. I just like that whole dynamic. And I understand it was 30, 40 years of getting played out. I understand it needed a change up, but I'm glad to see him going back to it now that we've had a break.
Yeah.
So.
For sure.
Yeah. And that's something too, is like the writers really make a big difference in a lot of the characters. Like you were talking about Cyclops being whiny earlier. Some authors or some writers really make Cyclops. I like Cyclops.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah,
I like him. But they really make him. Some writers really make him a whiny bitch, and I really hate when they do that. But Storm, nobody writes Storm as anything but a strong, strong character.
yeah,
Like it's almost like she's revered amongst her own writers. Like they're just like, no, you can't screw up Storm. You can't do anything. Like I don't think Storm's ever been on the bad side of anything. She might have had unpopular opinion, but I don't think the Storm has ever been, gone to the dark side, so to speak.
Well, there was
yeah.
She's
one
always been on
episode.
the side
There
side
was
of
the
it.
one episode in the X-Men series from '92 where Sauron took control of her mind, took control of her,
Yeah.
and she created. Or Storm was bad for a while. I mean, she really wasn't bad. She was mind controlled.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
But
want to see another good piece of art, you should look up that Sauron Storm in the comics, the image of that. There's a great still of Sauron holding her. It's a great cover that they had for that
and
comic. It was one of my
they explained
favorites.
Storm's kind of weakness, her claustrophobia. Her house got hit by a plane.
Yeah.
Her parents died, and she got stuck under the rubble for quite a while. So that's why she's got claustrophobia.
Yeah, it was,
Look up the cover for classic X-Men 20,
yeah.
and you'll see the image I'm talking about. Sauron's holding her by the hair, and she's and the rest of the X-Men there. It's fantastic art. It's just so good. It's one of my favorites. It's an Arthur Adams cover. Arthur Adams did a really good job on the his run there for a while. But
Yeah, it seemed. I really enjoyed the story when they introduced Gambit because me being a Gambit fan, I've read that comic multiple times, and I remember I hadn't read the comics prior to that, so at the time I didn't understand why Storm was a child. I mean, now I know, the
right,
nanny, but at the time it's like, wait a minute, why is Storm a child? They're basically the same age. So
yeah,
then, even going deep down the rabbit hole of Storm, she's been knocked down to a teenager, a child, multiple times.
yep. I tell you, I liked a lot of the stories around that nanny villain, but God, do I hate that villain. It's just so corny. You just got this person running around like an egg with legs and arms.
Yeah.
The orphan maker was kind of cool. I love the name. Orphan maker is kind of neat. Even nanny is kind of neat, but so cheesy running around with this egg. Like, what the hell? Who thought that was a good idea?
So remember
Oof.
the X-Men, animated series. Going back to that, there's the episode where Magneto must have found out that his children were Wanda and Quicksilver, and
Mhm.
Nanny had taken care of them for years because Magneto created Nanny.
Yep.
And then, go down a little further. Nanny's the one that knocked Storm down to a child.
Mm-hmm. And it was a cool stories and stuff. It's just the character was so lame. Like the way they drew it out. Like, really, let's just make a fucking egg. Like, it's Mrs. Humpty Dumpty here.
Yeah.
But
actually, I think I might be incorrect about Nanny. It was Midwife. Midwife was like, I guess,
that was
woman.
Magneto's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Magneto did create the Nanny. But it was
Magneto that
Midwife.
created Nanny or Sinister?
I believe it was Magneto.
I don't remember. I was thinking it was that Midwife was.
Midwife took care of Wanda and Pietro.
Yeah. But I forget the who made oh my gosh. I was thinking Sinister had something. Oh my god, I'm seeing pictures of her now and I'm just offended all over again.
We're going to get to the bottom of this, whether we like her or not.
Right?
We're gonna have to.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah. Well, she rescued somebody from Sinister, so it probably wasn't Sinister that created her. But because she's a human.
I thought she was an android. Is she a human?
Eleanor, she's human. Eleanor Murch. She had a husband,
Yeah.
etc. But there was something about her, but it looks like they don't give a lot about her in the beginning. She is cybernetic.
Nanny was an android creation of Magneto, who created her to be his instrument of revenge against the X-Men.
That's not the same Nanny that reduced the age to. The Nanny in Earth 616 is Eleanor Murch. She's the one that reduced Storm. I wonder if Magneto made if there was an older.
I thought it was the same
Nanny there
thing.
Magneto's that one's under. Oh, I remember that one. Yeah, that's a different creature.
So there's that two nannies?
That Nanny looks like a maid. She's like a robot in a maid outfit, which is almost as corny as the egg.
Yeah,
but yeah, she's she was back in the 70s. The other one, the one that de-aged thing, is the Eleanor. She's listed in, like, if you look up at, like, her on fandom, she's listed as Eleanor Murch, but she goes by Nanny. She was the one that de-aged Storm. So there's two different characters named Nanny. That makes better sense now. Yeah.
And of all the names to name a character, Nanny.
Yeah. Their obsessions. The first one, Magneto's Nanny, was literally created to be a nanny. This one took the name because she was saving kids.
Yeah.
But she was something else. Egg girl. First time I saw her, I think I saw her in X Factor. I know the X Factor may have been a first appearance for her. Yeah, X Factor 30. First time I saw her, I'm like, what? The original X Factor had great art until they got to the sketch artist that was doing it there for a while, but it was really cool art.
Yeah.
Like this freaking egg woman jumping out of a ship. I'm like,
so there was
just looked like my head.
So there was a time that Storm was coerced by a character named Archon to go to his world, and basically they went through a portal. It's a different universe and everything, and he had this, lack of a better term, a security system that was affecting the climate. And he said, we need that because we need to protect ourselves from the enemies. Well, what he was really doing was kidnapping from a planet over, bringing these characters back for slaves, and he had this security system up to keep them there. But it was affecting the weather, so Storm had to use all her powers, all her might to control the weather there. So that was a good two-parter. Where
that Archon character had some neat.
That?
I was just saying that Archon character had some neat stuff. He's old. He came around in the 70s. He's had all kinds of neat things, and that was a neat situation with him and Storm.
Yeah, it was definitely neat. And with her, she's had a few lovers. I mean, she's got Forge. She's had Black Panther. She's had this Archon.
Wolverine.
Wolverine. I absolutely love. I wish that story.
They deserve each other.
They deserve each other.
Just in a better future than that,
It's just perfect. Because I think even in the X-Men movies, the earlier ones, they hinted at that. Because I think Hugh Jackman and Halle Berry shared a kiss at one point, if I remember my movies correctly.
Maybe.
But Wolverine and Storm, that would have been a good one.
Yeah. Yep, I agree.
Mohawk Storm.
Yeah, for sure.
They always had this tension, and there was always that definite thing there between them. There was absolutely. It was a deleted scene from Days of Future Past, but that scene plays out. You can still find the scene.
Because I remember seeing it, but ever since we started our nerd powwow here, I've been doing a lot of YouTube searches on different characters. So
one character leads into the next, too. Yep.
So I guess I'm watching deleted scenes while I'm at it.
It's easy to do. A lot of times that stuff's out there in clips that aren't necessarily labeled deleted or otherwise.
Yeah. I think my favorite Storm showdown, it's either the Cyclops one, where she loses, or against Callisto from the Morlocks. When they abduct Angel, so she has to save him, and I think that's Gotta be, and of course they do it in the X-Men animated series as well, and I liked it in that as well. Thought they did good with that, so yeah.
Yeah, they changed it a little bit. They kidnapped Cyclops.
Yeah.
And Jean Grey.
Yeah. But yeah, I just like the fact that she can be the most regal creature in the room. She just walks into a room and she literally reeks of goddess. She just has
reeks
that.
of goddess.
Or
yeah,
she can,
absolutely.
Or she can come in looking like she just jumped off her Harley, and she's gonna come in and bust some heads. It all depends on her mood. Depends on what people she's dealing with. So she's just a well-rounded character. She's been a cornerstone. Like another thing too is there have been periods of time without some X-Men. We've had periods of time without Iceman, periods of time without even Jean or things. With her and Cyclops are like her, Cyclops, and probably Wolverine to a degree, even though he comes about a little bit later. Those three are always there. They're always in some form X-Men. The other people have come and gone, joined the Defenders, the Avengers, done other things. But those three just seems to be cornerstone, especially her and Scott. Her and Scott just always seem to be X-Men. Wolverine's gone up and he does his thing. He becomes Patch, does that kind of stuff, whatever. But other than when she was depowered and she was living with Forge, trying to find her power and fighting the adversary, etc. Other than that, she's always, even when she's leading Arakko, she's still an X-Men in her core.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, no, she's very dedicated. She's very, yeah, you're right. She's always there. When they brought her X-Men 97, the way they started her off was amazing. And actually, when she got hit with that beam that took her powers, I felt absolutely horrible.
Oh, you feel terrible.
I felt that in my heart. I'm like, oh my God, because she's like, I can't feel the weather. I'm like,
no,
or I can't feel the wind, something like that.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, oh,
that
shit.
hurts. Magneto should have taken that shot.
Yeah, right.
Because even like other X-Men, their powers, it would suck for them to lose their powers, but she has a bond with the forces of nature. She feels like it's part of her, like this not otherworldly, actually like this worldly energy, this worldly force she's in tune with, and that it took away her tuning with it. Scott can't shoot shit out of his eyes anymore. He's not in tune with that. You know what I mean? He isn't. Yeah. It doesn't embody him.
Well, he doesn't even have control of it.
Yeah, right, I'm just saying, it's like, these other people lose their powers, and it's awful for them. But it isn't Storm. It's a different level. She has it almost like on an emotional,
deeper connection.
It's almost like she self-defines by the weather.
Yeah,
she is the weather. She's the weather. That's who she is. And when you take that away from her, she's really hollowed out by her inside of herself. So, yeah, I love Storm. She's a fantastic character. I think sometimes that they actually underplay her powers, even though she's an Omega level mutant and she can really bring it. There's being able to generate lightning in and of itself. There's
pretty
that
powerful.
In itself is enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now you have the ability to have hurricane winds, which can make, a hair drive through a block of wood. So now let's make that hair electrified and send it through the army. One hair passes through the heads of an entire line of enemies. That it always kind of cracks me up how I've mentioned this before, how they keep their powers grounded in a way, because some of these mutants' powers, there's no stopping them if it was a real thing. They're unstoppable. Storm would be like literally in real world we can't stop forces of nature. There's forces of nature that we just can't handle. Erosion. She could literally change the tides.
Yep.
And create an entire country to slowly start being dug away. There's I mean, she can affect the face of the planet in a relatively short time.
Yeah.
So there's no end to the things that she could do. Imagine covering the Earth in heavy clouds, creating an ice age.
Yeah,
she could absolutely do that.
Well, hey,
And
as long as
like,
at least she's doing, she's on the right side, right?
right.
Yeah, thank the thunder gods.
Yeah, right.
But oof, yeah, don't mess with Storm.
I wonder what kind of storm. How would Storm's powers change if she was on a different planet? Like if she was on one of those planets that whips up storms like every hour, and storms last for like 20 years or whatever. I wonder what her power would be like on one of those planets.
That's true, because they don't really ever define how Storm controls the weather. I don't.
Yeah.
At least not that I have read.
She just can't.
Like the mechanic there. So is it a magnetic thing? Is she in tune? Because a lot of times the poles and the tides and everything else have there's a magnetism to it. I don't know.
I mean, maybe it's just she has the ability to manipulate light matter in the air. So just the air itself, and maybe connecting strings of water, she can create an arc of electricity from the air, or whatnot. Who knows?
They call her an atmokinetic.
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 Oh, that's some Marvel shit right there. That's what that is.
That's my comic level corny. I love it. They're saying it's a psionic ability for her to manipulate weather patterns, so it's almost like a form of telekinesis, where she's able to. That literally says a form of telekinesis.
I guess
it allows
that's fair.
her to manipulate temperature, winds, which temperature I could see, because all she'd have to do is agitate, create fiction. There's temperature. So I guess if you that makes sense, but that makes her telekinetic on the level like Jean Grey will never be.
Yeah. That's
doing things
insane.
On an atomic level.
Yeah,
it is insane.
Yeah, I bet you that's part of it. She can manipulate tiny bits of matter in the air, and so she could maybe accelerate them to make them hotter or cooler by slowing them down. Interesting.
They make it seem like she can shoot lightning out of her hands, but that's not really what she's doing.
She's bringing the lightning.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, in some iterations you see her where she's doing that, but that's inaccurate. She's bringing it in. It looks like some writers have had it where she's borrowing weather, like she gets it from other places and brings it here. But that's only sometimes.
That's a funny idea.
Yeah, it's a funny idea. Like, there's a storm in Tahiti. We'll go grab that and bring it over here.
Yeah, let's bring that over here.
There's a thunderstorm somewhere. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, there's it looks like she has demonstrated control over interstellar weather too, such as cosmic storms, solar wind, and even the Earth's magnetosphere.
So, yeah, that's beyond Omega right there. That's insane.
Yeah, like, we're talking about creating new Fantastic Fours. She can do cosmic storms. Yeah, she can literally control cosmic storms, and that's insane. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, because she's been battling the Shi'ar and stuff like that. She's been in outer space.
Quite a bit.
She's been able to use her powers out there.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, yeah. You think about like the atmosphere. I mean, obviously in the comics, Arakko was kind of terraformed so that they could live there. It isn't the actual atmosphere of Mars. They were kind of terraforming it to breathe there, but there are gases and stuff like that on Mars that if she were to whip up a storm with that, she could quite literally just suffocate people out, or just remove the atmosphere around people. Just create a storm that pulls the air away. She's unstoppable.
Just force the moisture into somebody's lungs and just drown them.
Or pull it all out. Yeah. Just turn them into an instant raisin. God. Or even if she can control electricity like that, she can control your electricity.
She could just stop your heart
anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah, just stop it. She just gives you. Yeah, she just defibrillates you.
Yeah.
Boom.
I'm back.
That'd be great. She yells clear, reaches over and touches somebody on the chest and stops them. That's why I'm something surprised they never did that in the comics to resuscitate somebody.
Yeah.
To have Storm call the lightning. They may have, and I just don't know it, but
yeah.
It seems like
it makes way too much sense.
Her...
They'd have to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it seems like a missed opportunity.
Just make sure you wet the sponge, Storm. Just make sure you wet that sponge.
Oh, even saying that makes me angry because of the Green Mile.
Yeah.
That guy should have died. Just a horrible, horrible, horrible death.
Oh my gosh, tough one.
Both reading that's something they captured really well in reproducing something. I read The Green Mile and I hated that character in it, and the way they did it when they filmed it really captured the level of scum that guy was.
Yeah.
Cool. That actor that played that guy, I don't think the guy's capable of acting or playing someone that's not just a awful. You gotta get that cat off your back there, buddy.
He's on the back of the chair.
Yeah, see,
I'm safe for now.
He missed me today.
Oh,
yeah,
poor Harry.
Man, Storm could probably never have a cat. She'd be blowing its ears off every time she tried to pet it. A static charge.
Yeah, I know. I feel bad when I reach out to pet my cat and it puts its tongue or puts its nose against my finger, and it's just a little arc, and it's like, fucker.
I get their ear, top of their ears a lot whenever I pet a cat. I'll be like, go to pet it, and just like, and you can see the cat's ear, like, ow. He's contemplating a jump to somewhere bad. I can see.
Don't do it.
It's not worth it.
Stuff over.
It's funny. But yeah. It's like I said, it was Storm. She's just trying to think of other great. There's so many great examples of what she's done, and the whole Wakanda thing that went on for a long time. I really kind of miss her and T'Challa together.
Yeah,
and it's really a shame that what's his name, the actor who played
Chadwick
Boseman. Yeah.
It's a shame for a million reasons, much more than a stupid movie that he's gone. But as a fan, I would really like to have seen. I mean, imagine Chadwick Boseman in Halle Berry or whatever Storm. Like that would have been. You could have had some epic stuff with that. Her coming to Wakanda. There's a lot of story there that could have really been great.
Oh yeah.
It's like I said. That's the least reason that it's a shame that gentleman is gone. But from a fan standpoint, it would have been really cool to see that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
as sad as it is, that same thing kind of happened to the White Tiger from Daredevil. He passed away shortly after he was the White Tiger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's all setting up his. There's two successors to the White Tiger in the comics. One of them they introduced her as niece. There's another one too. So, they were definitely retiring him out. It was funny. He used to be his comic, and so they changed it a little bit. That's comic accurate pretty much. But the original White Tiger, he basically was the Black Panther with an all white suit, and but he had the gold pendant. He just had the gold pendant right here. It was the only different. Like, his costume was like Black Panther, White Tiger. It was quite literal yin yang. It was funny. It was, but luckily they wrote the character really well. I always liked the White Tiger. He was a cool character. Matter of fact, the female White Tiger was in the animated X-Men, or not X-Men, Spider-Man show. It was her, Kid Nova, and Spider-Man. It was like Spider-Man Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. or whatever that show was for a while. They were kind of doing jobs for S.H.I.E.L.D. They had the Kid Nova, which I like the Kid Nova, but I want a Richard Rider movie so bad. They were supposed to have a Richard Rider series, but it's been put on the back burner again, unfortunately.
Well, Storm played in Spider-Man, the animated series. Very, very short. They had an episode with the X-Men, and it was pretty cool. They had all the same voices from the animated series.
Yeah.
I love when they do that.
Madam Web told him to make a team. And he brought on the Fantastic Four. I believe he brought on Iron Man, and then he brought on Storm. And Storm was the same actress, same voice.
Did they have the same Iron Man as the Iron Man animated series from that time?
I can't remember his voice, but it looked like him.
Oh
and
my
you know what? I
gosh.
bet it is, because all that happened all at the same time, basically.
I don't know why you would choose different voices just to get the same people.
Sure.
But that
it was
just the fact Storm was there, and then the X-Men were in Spider-Man. It was pretty cool when they combine universes like that.
I always love to see those
I
crossovers.
Yeah.
Because even the old Spider-Man is Amazing Friends. What a weird team that was.
Yes.
Had
Iceman.
Iceman and what's her name?
Who played it?
Firestar. It was Spider-Man, Firestar, and I believe Firestar was created for that cartoon. I don't think she originated in the comics. I'm pretty sure she was created. Yeah, she first appeared in the Spider-Man's Amazing Friends. She was retroed in, so Firestar was created for. She was created in the cartoon, but she became really important because the enemy organization Orcus was who was working against Araco and Krakoa, the two Storm was fighting and everything else, and the one with a bunch of the mutants were slaughtered at the one gala. The Hellfire Gala, when was slaughtered there and everything else in the comics. Firestar played part in that, betraying all of the mutants, etc., which really bummed me out because I really like Angelica. We got to know her really well. She was part of the New Warriors when they made the New Warriors with Night Thrasher, the return of Richard Rider Nova, her, Marvel Boy, who's the kinetic kid that bounces off of everything? Something Ball.
Oh,
I'll think of Speedball.
Yeah.
Speedball.
Yep, Speedball. It was and Namorita. Namorita was part of that group too. But anyway, I was really bummed because I really liked her. But they come to find out that she was actually undercover. She was infiltrating them, so she was not still on the side of good. So that was really kind of interesting. But yeah, I liked her. She was with Vance Astro, the Vance Astrovic, the Marvel Boy. I really liked when they were together. I don't think they're still together in the comics, but that was a cool coupling. I really liked the two together. But
so just to go back, because I don't want any fans being mad at me.
Yeah.
So Iona Morris voiced Storm in the first season, but then it was Allison Seeley Smith who did her ever since, and then even in X-Men '97.
Okay.
She's got that iconic voice. Just the way she says things is she's perfect for him.
And she captures the regal thing.
Yes, she certainly does. And Halle Berry made a great Storm, but this Alexandria Shipp, who's played the younger Storm, she has a little bit of an accent. And I think that just draws me into Storm a little more than Halle Berry ever did.
Okay.
So Halle Berry sounds American. The way she is, because she is. But Alexandria Shipp has a little bit of an accent that makes her sound, I don't know, more like Storm to me.
I like the look, and the voice is good of Alexandria, but
yeah,
I just don't know that she has the acting chops.
Right.
I don't feel like in awe of her,
because she was kind of just a minor player in Apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it? No, I'm sorry. No, that was Apocalypse. Yeah, she was like a minor player in Apocalypse.
Yep. Yeah, she's a good actress. I've seen her in other things, but I'd like to see her step into that regalness that we've talked about already. So.
And Allison Seeley Smith really captures that. She does an amazing job with that.
Yeah, I think that's an important for that power to come through there.
for sure.
Even that Iona Morris, who did season 1, you really can't sense the drop off. Well, I can't say it was a drop off or raise, because I think Allison Seeley Smith does a much better job, but Iona Morris did just fine.
Yeah.
She captured that regalness like Allison Seeley Smith did. So there's really not much of a difference for me. They sound very similar.
Fair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, hey, that's part of a good staffing option and changing your voice actor too, right? You want somebody to sound similar, so they did good.
Yeah, because some of the the sitcoms and shows out there were like season 3, the mom's different, or so I'm like, wait a minute, she's got the same name, she's supposed to be the same person, but she's totally different actress.
Well, they did that to us with Rhodey for Iron Man, I think, right?
They did.
Or
if you remember Family Matters back when in the 90s, they changed Harriet Winslow after like 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah, a lot of shows have done that. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, they changed out the
mom,
the aunt. They changed her out. I mean, they did it a few times in Game of Thrones. They just straight have a different person, a whole different look coming in.
True Blood, they did that with the black waitress lady that was a friend of Snooki. Yep. They switched her out.
Changed her out.
Yep. Man.
Yeah, they just it's crazy when they do it. I don't mind when they do it. They at least try to capture the essence. Like, did you guys watch the Spartacus series by any chance?
I haven't.
If you didn't, you should. If you like historical, but that's kind of visceral, almost like made a little bit more, almost robust. Like it's a little over the top. But the gentleman who played Spartacus in the first season was fantastic, and he passed away. Similar to Chadwick, he just suddenly had some kind of illness, and it took him way too young. And but the show was wildly successful. So the second season, they made a prequel season of what this was like before Spartacus was there, introduced some actual historic characters that took place there. And then in the meantime, they're frantically searching for a replacement for this guy, and they groomed another guy who he captured the right thing. He's not quite the first guy, but he fit he didn't have to, it didn't feel like this like massive alteration, like you're like, whoa, it feels weird to have the whole time there. But
I'm like, who's that?
But they've been doing that for so long. They did it in freaking Bewitched.
Yeah.
Like, they changed Darrens. That was a running joke of the Darrens in Bewitched. But, so the, I don't know. I'm curious who they're going to cast as Storm, because I think it needs to be someone who really invokes that Storm. They need to command it. When she enters the scene, enters the screen or comes on screen, you need to feel like you're witnessing someone who's powerful, not just in power, but in presence. That's the word. It's like her presence.
I wonder if Alexandria Shipp will play Storm in the Avengers or Secret Wars. James Marsden coming back as Cyclops.
Yeah, I saw that list out that they're bringing a lot of the people that played the originals, but I don't know if they're doing that they're going to be the new cast, or if they're doing the whole multiverse thing. I have a sneaky suspicion that a lot of these characters are appearing because they've already listed for Doom, the Avengers Doom movie. They've already listed what's his face coming in as Gambit. So he's
Channing Tatum.
Channing. So there's already these list of people. So we'll see.
Knocked it out of the park for me. Channing Tatum.
Yeah, he did a great job.
Oh, it was perfect. And just the iconic suit. Just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was.
That was awesome part about Deadpool and Wolverine. I had no idea.
Gambit when I saw that part, I was like, "Oh, this is so freaking awesome!"
I was like, I bet you comes out first, and I'm like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, I was like, I can't fucking wait until Wayne sees this movie, and it was longer than I wanted it to be until you ended up seeing the movie. I think, Wayne.
I think it was about a week later. Yeah, I didn't see it.
Yeah, and I was like, Wayne, you need to watch this now. What are you doing?
the movie was full of that.
Watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole movie was full of that.
I purposely didn't watch trailers and stuff like that. I purposely stayed off Facebook for a week because I knew there was going to be people talking about it.
It was awful. I'm surprised that you made it a week without having that spoiled to you. That's maybe the most impressive feat of that entire movie is you not getting that spoiled.
Just the shock aspect of it. And I was very similar to the multiverse movie or Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
When Patrick Stewart came out as Professor X. Like, I hadn't deal with that one either.
Yeah.
I loved in what was it? Deadpool 1 or 2 where all the X-Men were hiding from him in the mansion.
It's like, Fox couldn't afford any more X-Men.
But it showed that little cutscene. They were all hiding from him in the one room because they didn't want to deal with him. It was hilarious. The whole cast was there. I love that. It was so good.
Or Colossus had to deal with them.
Yeah. That's another one I'd like to see them recast. I'm not a big fan of the big dumb Colossus.
No,
they really haven't. He's always been like a side actor, except in Deadpool. But even in Deadpool, he's like a side actor.
Yeah, and like I said, they make him this big dumb. I don't know, altruistic. I mean, he is gentle, but he's not.
Yeah,
he's not that. I don't know. And I loved the guy they had in the original X-Men movies. The way he looked. The guy couldn't act his way out of a paper bag, but I love the look of him.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, because Colossus is lean in the comics. He isn't the barrel-chested, massive guy. It isn't him. It's not who he is. He's supposed to be uncommonly fast and agile and athletic, which makes him, even though he's not as strong as some of these massive heavy hitters, he's up there, but he's not going toe to toe with the Hulk. But what changes him is his ability to fight and to move around and be fast. And you got this guy. You don't think he would do that. You don't think he'd be that, and it was always what I liked about him. But
yeah,
I hope they get him more right too. We'll see. There's a lot of potential out there.
Yep.
Have you guys kept up with the Daredevil?
Yes, I watched the 4th episode.
Are you caught up? So did you the 4th episode?
Yeah,
there's 4. Yeah,
there's 5 now.
Yeah, there's another episode up. I haven't seen it yet though.
Then I'm behind.
Did you see the one with the bank robbery?
No, I guess I'm behind.
So you haven't seen the one with the bank robbery? Okay.
No.
You should. I won't say anything, but there's a character in there. I'm curious if you realize who it is.
Okay.
It ties it right into the larger Marvel universe quickly. I was like, whoa! And it's weird how they did it, but it's pretty cool.
Nice.
But yeah, I think they dropped two episodes this week.
Okay. So they're up to episode 6 probably then.
Did. Yeah, I think it was 5. But let me check.
I only made it 4 so far.
And they're amping up on the action. I was a little disappointed that there's no more. It is 6. You're absolutely right. Episode 6, excessive force. But I am disappointed they haven't had more Punisher. I was hoping that they would have more of him in there, but
there was a lot of problems with the production of this show. I guess Daredevil didn't even put a costume on until late in the 6th episode with the original scripting, and John Bernthal wouldn't even play the Punisher with the original scripting.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, and so they had to do a complete rewrite for him to come back and play the role. It's just crazy how much control he has over his character. Because that is his character at this point. It
is. It's become that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
But he loves the character, and he's not afraid to be like, no, this sucks. I'm not going to have any part to do with this.
Mm-hmm.
So, got to support him for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
Yep.
But yeah, you should watch it. It's ramping up. It's it's definitely ramping up. I wish they'd build a little faster, but this is the same pacing they had in the Netflix series, and people really liked that. So I think they're trying to complement that pacing they had there. So
I'm getting caught up with Invincible. Have either of you watched Invincible?
I don't miss an episode.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Have you watched any of this season?
I'm up to the second episode in season 3, and my God, it's exciting.
It is exciting. Invincible is fantastic.
It's really good.
It's
Amazon Prime.
Okay. Yeah. A single episode.
It's amazing. The first episode, you're probably going to think that it's some kind of weird Justice League mockery or spin-off or
you know what?
Or something.
That's perfect. Not. Yep. Just believe that and watch it from there. It's perfect.
Yeah,
it's a really good show. Oh man,
that was the sheer brutality of this season.
Yeah,
I've never watched anything as brutal as this shit is in this season. I'm like, oh my God.
But
it's good.
I like that they have the theme of like the superhuman person who's at this point, like, he is having a lot of his logic tested, his outlooks on thing, like what objectively is good, and his will over the world being tested. And it's interesting to see this younger, super-powered character having to deal with these struggles. Then, on the flip side, you have all these forces that, like, they say they're for good, but really, like, they're doing some really messed up things to try and keep for the greater good.
Yeah, see, you haven't read any of the Invincible comics, right?
No.
So there's a lot. Like, I don't know how many issues they're up to, but it's going to take 30 seasons.
Oh yeah,
to catch up to the comics. There's just so much, but that whole mechanic of what makes a hero is that whole the Invincible universe is based on that. It's amazing. I really like that series because he's tortured. Mark is just tortured.
Yeah,
he's trying to be the good hero.
And Wayne, there's a character named Darkwing.
Really?
Yeah.
There's a character called Darkwing. Yep.
Well, now I gotta watch.
You have to.
You'll love it. It's so good.
It is.
I just finished up Reacher.
I
started season 4 of The Boys because I'm far behind on The Boys.
Oh, The Boys is such a wild ride.
Yeah, when I get time.
Yeah.
I know the feeling.
Or whatever. To let the next one, they're ridiculous with that. That shit's ridiculous. Now there's this 2 years between us seasons, but they do have they do have a new season of University V or whatever it's called.
Yeah, Gen V or
what's it called? What's Gen V?
Yeah.
I really like
a new
Gen
season
V.
of that's coming out. Yep. And if you're caught up with The Boys, those characters are in there for after the first season of Gen V, working with the bad people.
Yeah.
So, what's the name of the company?
Vought.
Yeah, they're working with Vought. So now, this next season, we're going to find out what happened because they were in prison. The Blood Girl and the one other kid were imprisoned. So now we get to see what happened after. There will be some story after The Boys ended, so it will continue that story away. So we do get a little bit of The Boys in there. That's my point. Timeline wise, it falls in after what happened in the last season of The Boys. So the timeline is going to keep moving forward. So we'll see how that. I'm curious how that's going to go.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we'll see.
We will.
I'm excited for a lot of it. There's a lot of good stuff out there right now. I started watching something on an animated show. My brain is failing me. It's been a long day today. That's why I was running a little bit late earlier. I was like, ugh. But I started watching the Castlevania shows we were talking about. I finally finished those up, so I got those all done.
Nice.
So Nocturne as well.
It's really good. What's that?
Did you watch Nocturne as well?
Yeah, I've watched all of the.
Oh, see, I haven't made it through Nocturne yet.
Yeah.
There's so many shows I got to watch. It's like I'm so far behind.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. So many.
Yeah, but we'll get there. Darn it, we'll watch everything.
Oh
yeah,
man.
it's funny that I watch the shows, but I'm so busy. Like I have stuff like every night of the week, but I don't sleep. I get like 4 hours of sleep at night. So after we're done here, I'm gonna watch 5 or 6 episodes of something while I'm playing some kind of game too. So
the person who produced the first 2 seasons of Castlevania, he's running up that Devil May Cry project for Netflix.
Oh, good.
Oh, really? That's good because those first 2 seasons are where it's at for Castlevania.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I did like season 4. The fight with death was awesome. I really like seeing that. In most Castlevania games, death is the mini boss before you fight Dracula, or at least like the first like real big challenge right before Dracula that you fight against in a lot of the games. And man, they really gave him that aura of just like a big fucking badass. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I loved how they did that.
Yeah, he felt intimidating.
Yep.
He felt really intimidating.
Yep.
So yeah, good stuff.
So going back to Storm, her first appearance was in Giant Size X-Men in 1975.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, I've never read any of the Giant Size X-Men. Have you guys?
Oh, yeah, all of them. I don't think that era. I don't think up until probably maybe 2000. I don't think they made an X title that I didn't read. Like I collected it, or at least went back and read even the ones that predate me, the ones from the 60s and 70s and things like that. But because they redid, so they had another series come out in the 90s called the Classic X-Men, and basically it was the retelling of. It wasn't the retelling; it was a reprint of the Giant Size X-Men and everything that happened when the X-Men came to save the original X-Men from Krakoa. So it's the first appearance of all of those ones I mentioned earlier, Storm, Wolverine, they all came in there. Banshee had appeared before. I think Sunfire had appeared before, but a lot of them hadn't. Thunderbird was a big part of that group too, but he died really early. The original Thunderbird.
Yep.
John Proudstar. What's that?
I remember Thunderbird. You're right.
There's 2 of them. Yeah, there's John Proudstar, and then his little brother became Thunderbird with the X-Force, etc. But the original one died, and they kept him dead for a long time. But they brought him back with the resurrection protocols with the 5, and it was kind of neat when they brought him back because he's like my brother's. He was talking about him being a sellout. He didn't because John Proudstar was very anti. He was a very strong, proud Amerindian man, and he had a lot of he dealt with bigotry in a lot of different ways outside of mutants. So it was kind of cool to see him being brought into the modern world and his take on that. That happened a lot in the X-Men Red. I was reading he appeared in there for a bit. So, but yeah, the Giant Size X-Men when Storm came about, all those guys came about. That was a massive introduction. That's as big as anybody else being introduced. And we're talking. I mean, it wasn't the first appearance of Wolverine. Wolverine appeared in the Hulk and Alpha Flight. Well, I don't know if the Alpha Flight was before or after that, but he'd appeared in different things. Wolverine had been around, but him as that's his first major appearance. Nightcrawler, all these characters that are staples now. That was the first time they came out. That they introduced the entire middle team on that too. There was a first team that got sent to Krakoa to save the original team.
Oh,
they inserted them. And it was Moira McTaggart's team of heroes.
Moira is definitely a character because Moira, for the longest time, I only knew her by what X-Men the animated series talked about her with, but and then she had Proteus as a son he ended up dying at some point. But wasn't Moira a mutant?
And she is. She's actually
out right away.
she's a resurrector, and she's different when she comes back. We'll have a longer talk one of these days, one of these episodes on Moira, because she's a very relevant. She's in the Orcus thing. Is a lot of that has to do with her. She's
she's resurrector, huge. Like you said.
Yeah. I think she's up. I think she gets 10 lives or something like that, and she's on Moira 10 right now. So she's the whole thing was kind of cool with her.
And lives to live.
Because I thought Moira was just someone from Scotland that Charles Xavier worked with, fell in love with, and all of a sudden
that's who she started off with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was trying to remember who was all on her team, because what's his name? Vulcan, I believe, was on her team. If I'm not wrong, I gotta remember. Can't remember who was all on her team when she went to save the original X-Men. But I'll have to look that up and mention that later, because it was interesting. It was the team she had created to do that, and they just kind of and they erased them from people's memory. Xavier, once again, being the good guy that he is, just like we'll just get to erase that shit out of their memory. I'm like, come on.
Magneto was right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Xavier acting like the MIB. Flashing with the little light.
Oh, she's up to 11. Yeah, I'm just not a fan of the Xavier at all. Just
so they started the comics really X-Men with him, so of course we think he's the good guy. But is he really the good guy?
No.
What if Magneto's really good guy? Magneto's trying to save his people, and he just doesn't want people getting in his way.
Yeah.
He doesn't want mutants getting in their way.
Xavier, I don't know that I'd call Magneto a good guy. He's a little extreme. He definitely believes that in the Homo superior versus Homo sapien type thing, which is
a little genocide-y, a
little bit.
But he made Asteroid M. Yeah. Tried to take mutants out in the space. He came up Genosha, tried to give them a little corner of the world to be left alone, and the humans just wouldn't leave him alone.
No,
so
wouldn't let him be.
Magneto really the bad guy.
There definitely were times when if people wouldn't have poked the bear, they wouldn't have had a problem with him. But
I can just see him on that Speedo in the underground. Yep. Poking the bear until you get Eric nice and pissed off.
Or was that when Magneto was captured after Genosha and he's on that X?
Yep.
His little tiny Speedo.
Yep, Magneto and his little tiny Speedo.
And that's the thing, when Charles Xavier was thought to have passed, he was willing to take over the X-Men and try it Charles's way, and the humans poked the bear.
Yeah, they should have really, like I said, when Magneto's like, I'm going to leave everybody alone, just go live by myself, let him do that. Let him be. Don't poke the bear.
Oh, it's a pinata up there. Let's hit that asteroid with a rocket. Yeah.
See how much candy he's got.
Us seeing Paper Wasp nests as kids. Oh, let's hit it with a rock.
Let's hit it with a right, exactly. Like, yeah, they should have left that.
They're talking about characters having their powers dumbed down. I remember an episode where Storm went against Magneto and she tried to shoot him with the lightning bolt, and he said, electricity or magnetism and electricity are related. Yeah. What if Storm would have just used wind or something other than a lightning bolt?
Fair.
She's got so much different options. Heck, with Omega Red, she froze him. All right, let's freeze Magneto.
Yeah, freeze the hell out of Magneto. What's he going to do about that?
Throw a piece of wood at him. Hit him with a log. Come on.
No, you
just so many options. Drown him.
Well, you know,
shoot him with a lightning bolt.
The best way to deal with Magneto is with a wooden gun.
Yeah, exactly.
Plastic gun.
There's such
found it. It was
there's a corny comic where Mr. Fantastic tricks Magneto using a wooden gun, making Magneto think that he lost his abilities of magnetism. And so he puts the handcuffs on, and he's in the back of the police car, like, "Oh, he's got me again." And Mr. Fantastic's like, "Oh, it's a wooden gun. I got you good." So goofy, that stuff, man.
So cheesy.
Well, now they're creating 3D printed guns.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
Magneto can do anything about that now.
Yep.
There were 4 people in the second X-Men team. The original, it was Petra, who was a geokinetic. She can move the Earth around. She was a geomancer, basically.
Okay.
Sway, who had time powers. Darwin,
could adapt.
Basically, he's immortal. He was kind of immortal. He could evolve through things. And Vulcan, the other Summers brother, who's a major asshole. You wait till you read him in X-Men Red. Because he led the Shi'ar for a while. He was the emperor of the Shi'ar because he was born there. That's why they didn't know about him. He was, he's their brother, but he was in utero and then raised different. So he was part of the Shi'ar kind of. But but that was the original team, and they got messed up bad, died, all kinds of stuff, and they just erased the memories of them. Like, thanks, guys. Oh, Professor X, devious bastard.
What a rock star.
Yeah, I mean, like, even when he was, like, in the early X-Men, he was, like, what do you call it, crushing on Jean, who was, like, 15 years old, or 16 or whatever, and, like, stop. What are you doing? I mean, it speaks to the time that these comics
you wouldn't
were being
understand.
written.
It was a different time.
Yeah, but
get out of my head, Charles.
Then, that's just not okay.
No, not at all. Okay. Not at all.
Not okay.
Said that he created his comics at the time for what was going on in the world.
True.
You know, he wanted something positive because racism was a little stronger back then, and he wanted something positive out there.
A little more overt, anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, there's a lot of just goofiness in those early original ones. But like I said, I don't think Xavier's ever been a good guy. Never been a fan. Never thought Professor X was the guy. Just his dream.
I like his ideas. His dream's great, but
the idea of everybody living harmoniously, etc. But even the Danger Room was an enslaved AI that he was using that eventually broke free. It's like, let's have a slave. It's a machine. Just because it's got sentience doesn't matter. Like, come on, man. This guy is dark as hell.
Can you not be a mustache twirling villain for a second, Charles, please?
Right. Like, God, I just... All I need is him in the wheelchair, like, $1 million.
$1 million.
So like Mr. Bigglesworth over here.
Right. Yeah, oh, yeah, that's funny. But, I feel like I should have the bald cat, like...
That's right. $1 million.
But yeah.
Good stuff,
Never
guys.
Gonna be a fan of like Xavier. It is good stuff. Yeah. That was a good... Storm's great.
Storm is great.
And of course, we're talking more X-Men in the future, so I'm sure Storm comes up in the future. And man, she can't not, right?
Can't. I'm hoping they give her the right play. I hope they represent her well. She's, of all of them, I'm hoping they give her, because she has always been, even when Halle Berry played her, she was a background character.
Yeah.
Right. She was not, they made Rogue more of a central point of those movies than they did Storm, which I love Rogue, don't get me wrong. She, especially now, but in that era of comics, Rogue was rather background and to minimize Storm, so
And Rogue had her Ms. Marvel powers by the time she joined the X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
True.
So that I understand that probably wouldn't have fit the story, what they tried to do with the X-Men, but I think they should have had Rogue with her powers. In my opinion.
Yeah.
I do too. I mean, she's another one. She's come into her own. Rogue has become. She's one of the ones that's had one of the best evolutions. Started from being this kind of damaged, backwards, semi-criminal, raised by some bad elements, in a really tragic backstory and continuing existence. To becoming the stronger person that she is. I really enjoyed the evolution of Rogue. She's less rogue than she was before. Her name fits less than it did before. So, but yeah, we should talk about Rogue sometime. She's pretty great.
Oh yeah.
But
speaking of nerds, any other topics? Please let us know. What do you want to hear about? What do you want to know about?
Absolutely.
More, But
even if you want us to take things in different directions when we're talking about a character, if there's different details you'd like to know about characters, comics, the numbers that they originated, who knows what you'd like to know. There's little information. We'd love to talk about that stuff and dive into it, because this is how we usually converse about it, but we'd like to expand to include everybody's ideas in there with what we like, what we discuss and what we go over. So let us know. It's an open forum. Just give us a shout out to us. Let us know.
Yeah, well said.
Absolutely. All right, nerds. Well, I think with that, I think that's been the Nerd Powwow. Thanks for hanging out, nerds.
I think it has. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
See you guys.